Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL World Tactical Racing League's Team Time Trial Platinum League. I'm Nathan Guerra. Dave Towle next to me, and we are out on the Casse-Pattes France course. That sounds like it's only 24K, but I think that there's a little bit of climbing in the way for some of the athletes out there today.
2.7K at 4%. That doesn't sound like all that much fun. Certainly going to be hard to set pace, isn't it, on that climb for our stronger teams here? It's going to be touch and go, no doubt about it, on the front of these teams. This is a beautiful, beautiful world, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the marina on over to the Pave RV Aqueduct, and then the Petite KOM. It's a steady grind. It's got a lot of switchbacks on it. I actually raced it just the other day. We can take a quick look. It is a Category 4, as you can see. So that will be on the back end of the course. Up front, I think the question is going to be a lot of matches burned? Maybe have the stronger pure wattage riders given a little bit of a go up front, perhaps, Dave, and then let the climbers take off over the top. That might be kind of a tactic there.
Yeah, I think another tactic that I would talk about would be sacrificing riders here. Okay, there's going to be, I think, every team that starts with 8, let's just be honest, and that's going to be something that's really important for a director to do, evaluating talent. Let's look at the riders that are going to have trouble on that climb. Is there any way we could use them in the first half of this race to get us 10 extra seconds to set up the riders that are going to make it up and over and be in that group of 4 that finishes? That's really where today, I wouldn't be surprised if the best teams, Nathan, use riders in the first half of the race, or really up until you hit that climb, the first or second for that matter. And that might be the difference out here. That's where we're really getting down into that final 1% of tactics, right?
Yeah, and I think that is a great tactic, though, coming over the top of the climb with. This is the one situation where I'd say coming over the top with less riders might be an advantage, actually, because if you burn as many matches
if you
up
use
front,
them right.
If you use them right, exactly. So, 4 riders dropped off, given everything they got early on, only 4 going over the top, and it's everything all in, and they kind of reserved a little bit. Not a bad tactic at all. We'll see if anybody does employ that.
It's funny, Nathan, as almost so many days that we're racing now, you've already worked earlier in the day racing out of New Zealand, but obviously not today. This is Platinum League with the World Tactical Racing League. There's 16 different time zones. I heard that NZ Bro put together a fantastic ride out there earlier today. I was thinking, were you with that ride and did you have a chance to see it? But it would have been 3 a.m. in Wisconsin, and for once you finally get to sleep. I assume you sleep at some point. But
once in a while. Let's take a look here real quick, though. This is a really good point, actually. We did get a request to look through. We'll let rave music take us on through as well for what's happening so far. Out of Zone 1, WMZL, it looks like, Dave, are holding it down for the Vienna Frappes. We've got nothing for the Vienna, the top end of the Vienna here, actually. So Vienna Espresso, nothing so far. Vienna Latte, Zisa and Burson, Valhalla, holding down 1 and 2. TBR Smilon currently in 3rd, so those will be the times to beat. And then in the regular Viennas for a little bit later when the women do get going, WMZ Diamonds, Aero Stingers, and AHDR Cruzettes all coming out of Zone 1. Now this is interesting, though. NZ Bro here, Slurtech, they have been dominating recently, having amazing results, and 29.51 for the Dopios, which is a new record on this course for the Dopios. So that's the time to beat for the Dopios. And then we also saw a little bit of a celebration. I'm going to show that first, actually, coming on in from our friends over at the Dirt team. This was their smiles when they were setting this new course record, and it is going to be Eat Dirt. They even posted this photo over in the WTRL. Actually, they were pretty happy about it. And alongside of that, they even gave us a little bit of a poster about eating dirt to go on top of it.
Ugh,
so,
that looks
they showed up this week definitely to brawl, and they definitely showed us exactly why. So that's the situation here currently with these teams and the Espresso, because Eat Dirt are sitting at the top. We'll see if it doesn't get challenged, though, in the Platinum League. 30.57 the time to beat. And then we've got Eat Dirt again, 32.41 with the Frappes. And then in the lattes, we're looking at Eater 2 at 35.33 and Eater Tra at 40. So, I mean, they're just dominant.
They are at fuego.
What's going on here? Like, are they just going to hold down everything? We'll have to wait and see here, Dave. Really interesting to see.
I can't wait. They are definitely finding another level out there. 29:51. That certainly sounds like a benchmark time. That's for sure. You might need 8 Ashton Lambys to beat that, to tell you the truth. This is going to be awesome. Now, so hot right now, Zone 1. I mean, I've heard people saying they're the new Platinum League, and I can't argue. I can't argue at all. A tremendous amount of energy as we kick it up. And Nathan, you have done a tremendous job. I see responding to people saying, hey, we want to check out the pens again. This is where it all starts for a WTRL race. And you'll see that what happens is now the teams have been assigned their stagger time off of basically think Greenwich Mean Time, and then you have your time. So you need to know you're waiting 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever it might be until your team rolls out on course. So it's not complicated, but there's a procedure, just like boarding a plane or something. It's not hard to figure out, but you do need to figure it out.
Yeah, and we do have, sorry about that, everybody, for a second there. It was not loading correctly, but we do have the times as they will start coming on in for us. We'll also be able to see who's starting. I wanted to go and head and see how the WTRL TTT gets going. A lot of people who might not be familiar with this might think, oh, is it just how you usually get going in an event where, the banner goes down and you just go? Everybody's assigned a time, as you can see. And as they're giving those times, go ahead, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see a rider just popped in on your screen there. So that was not a late arrival, but relatively cutting it close. And I think a teammate just threw him a thumb saying, thanks, we're glad to see you here because we're going to need you today out here on this 24K course. But so teams, that looked like a full 8. Was that Rowan King that rode? We're with the Rhinos now.
Yep. Rowan King, Vixens just took off. The Rhinos should be the next, as you can see the order. So they're 7th, and I'm with Anjay Morgan. They will be 1 minute after. So right about now or so, they should be taking off in just a moment. Here we go with the Rhinos getting their time going. They're going to be 7th out on course. And then the SZ team are going to be the next. We're going to get a good look at how their start gets going here with the Rhinos. Look at the ordering immediately.
Great job. So you know how, this is an American thing, but in American football, how when you line up for a kickoff, first the kicker starts running, and then you know what I mean? Like not everyone at the same time starts running because you want to hit it all the line at the same time. And that was a great job by the Rhinos. Tremendous amount of experience with this team. You're not going to see a smoother start to a team time trial than what they just did right there out of the pen. And all of the teams then will know what their stagger, the team captain or the director will have communicated that to the riders. We did see one rider joining within a minute of the start there. So that was well timed, but that very well could be planned as well, Nathan. Talk about that for us, would you? You've done plenty of these.
Yeah, I mean, as far as just getting going, you mean
coming
as
off
far
a
as
warm up is what I'm talking. Like that rider was warming up and then probably
I don't know. They might have just appeared suddenly from a client side because that I don't think you can actually get into the event late. You can't really late join these. So
and they would have already been, even though it wasn't their start time, the race had already started because once you hit that marker time, 1 minute, it's the first, once you hit, let's say top of the hour, a team doesn't start. It's 1 minute later, then 2 minutes later. Is that correct?
Yes. Every minute on the minute is going to be 1 minute start. So now we have
not
team
on the hour.
Mocha Cakes on the go.
But not on the hour. Is what I'm saying, right? So if it's 9 o'clock, we wait till 9:01 before the first team.
Gotcha. So it is 1 minute after the actual banner starts, usually. Yes.
So team 2 starts at 2 minutes.
Drops. Yep. Well, It depends on what is sent out by WTRL. Whatever they're up to, they send times directly to the team managers, and then the team managers give the times to the teams. So you just do what you're told. It don't matter.
That's the best way to,
So because what if a team doesn't show up or something, you know what I mean? So
sure.
There could be a situation where it's 2 minutes before the first team gets going.
It's also worth when you're a part of a WTRL team or actually any team, it's always better to, instead of 8 different people figuring out the same calculus, let one person figure that out who's the smartest and then distribute that to everybody. That's a really good way to do it on a team because you don't want to end up with 6 different answers out of those 8 people. So we're going to get that's a really good look at how it all starts off here. So the journey begins with your first pedal stroke, this 1K mark coming up here. So this is the Swedish Swifters, another highly accomplished, highly regarded team. No doubt about it. We'll have some splits coming in today at 5K, 14K, and 20K. So 3 different looks at how things are going out there along the way.
Taking a quick look here at Art. They were the first ones to go out. Adam Racing Team Krypton on their way out toward the 6-kilometer mark to begin with. We'll see what their time is as they come on in. Golf are chasing them. And with the 1 minute gaps, you can get a little bit of an idea of how things are going if you are one of the riders that are out on course. You do see 34 seconds between Krypton and ECC at this point. And with that gap, you can see that Ingolf most likely have brought back a little bit of time, but have lost, it looks like with Team Type 1, have lost about 5 seconds or so. Not really something to be worried about. But that 30 seconds, Dave, if I were on Art Krypton, I'd definitely be keeping an eye on that up front. The question is, the back end of the course, though, are people reserving anything for the climb? Especially, I think, amongst this Mocha category, may be a big concern.
I would agree, and I think you really have to be concerned about that climb. It's the feature of this course for sure. As we were in with ART here. This is the team of Daniel Jennings, Lee Carter, Matt Mangan, Mike Davis, Reese Smith, Simon Palmer, Stuart Gee. They're all out of United Kingdom, Wales, England, etc. So it's nice to see another strong squad here. Boy, so this Mocha category that we're in with right now, if you're on Zwift Power, you'd find them all under the B setting there. And this is a group that is certainly, there's a lot of depth in the Mochas, that's for sure. So the Platinum League teams always start in reverse order of finishing from the previous week. So the first team leaves at 1 minute after the banner drop, as I was saying there. So that was a good look at the start today.
Yeah, it's really well organized. A lot of people, I think, don't realize how incredibly organized and how much goes into just setting this up for each and every teams. When you've got hundreds of teams, thousands, sometimes over 1,000. I mean, it's crazy how much information has to go out and how many teams have to all get on the same page, and the amount of errors at this point and how low that's gotten is just absolutely insane. Really, really great to see. So amazing job done all across from the community as well as WTRL.
Until Martin and Steven came along, I don't think anyone thought this would have been possible. No one even was audacious enough to try. But the brain power and the stick-to-itiveness and the creativity that we've seen from WTRL has driven esports racing to a whole new level. There's no doubt that WTRL deserves a huge thank you for all the work that they've done. And thousands is right, Nathan. I think we're right at the cusp of that, to the point where we'll start having on any given Thursday as we're hitting 125 and 125 consecutive WTRLs. There has been no break over the last 2+ years. Absolutely amazing run here.
As Art Krypton continue on their way here, they're having a pretty good race here. ECC now on the chase. It looks like they are starting to fade just a tad here, ECC. As it looks like maybe went out a little there, it looks like. We'll be waiting for these
check to figure out
in just a moment.
What are these guys doing with ECC? So England CC, is that the same as Engulf?
Yes. Yeah, it is Engulf.
Why do they do that? What is how did we end up with Engulf instead of ECC there?
Perhaps they just want everybody to be able to see the name completely. So Art Krypton,
is it a tactical?
I can't see all of M. Mangan. I can't see all of P. S. Palmer. I can't see all of Carter, but with
Ah, right,
ECC,
right.
you see the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
name very easily. It's very
Boom.
clear. There is no, that would be one reason I could think of just shortening things up
Makes
so
sense.
that
Yeah.
you don't have this scrolling name. You can go, otherwise, you just see Art Krypton, especially if it's a longer name. You don't really have any idea of who
Sure.
you're looking at.
Makes sense. And the team name is Engulf. Or, well, and that ENG, it certainly looks like that would be England to me. The way they spell it out,
And they are
ENG is
definitely
large
from
case. And
England. Yep,
oh, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. They're all UK based. So, all right, this is Evo that we're in with now. There's always what I have learned, Nathan, for sure in the last year plus of this is that there's a reason why teams do the things they do. You just have to peel the onion back a little bit to get the answer. And it seems to almost always make sense. Is Chris Jasinski here from England? Again, Dylan Lang racing out of France, Mike Garvin, Mike Heath. And I'm going to ask you, Nathan, to look at Mike Heath's flag there. Mike Savage also on the Evolution team here. And I just finally got connected with Zwift Power the other day. I've been on Zwift Power before, but like I can see now that he's a level 43 rider. I used to always have to ask you, Nathan, right? And make our
Falkland
lives
Islands. The
Falkland Islands. Yeah,
is what
there
we're
you
talking
go.
about here with Mike Heath. And level 43, as you said, interesting to see. And been around a
First ever
while.
Falkland Islands.
This
First
is,
ever, Nathan, for
wow.
me.
Okay, I have not seen a 2016 rider for a long time. He's been around. This guy's been around since old school ZHR races. I'm talking
Yeah,
some
wow.
of the first Kiss 100s. I mean, goes way back to July 16th, 2016 on Zwift Power. It's pretty, I mean, this is pretty old school coming in from Mike Heath. Really cool to see.
No
Coming out of the
kidding.
Falkland Islands. And that's
So
going to be South Atlantic is where this is at.
yeah,
Falkland Islands.
Falkland Islands was
Go ahead. You
involved
know a
in
lot
a
more, I think, than I will about these islands.
well, for most Americans who are over 30 or maybe even over 40, you'd have to be that old to remember Falkland Islands being involved in a military conflict. It wasn't huge, but it was a small island there off of, I want to say, the west coast of South America. And it was a British control issue. I don't really remember the details, nor do we need that on WTRL, but it certainly came to fame where something that they certainly didn't want to, although I don't remember there being a tremendous number of casualties. It was more a political conflict of, getting played out there. But that's extremely, I always remember the cartoon Bloom County, which was the Opus the Penguin. I don't know if that ever made it into your world, Nathan, but so it was involved in some funny looks at that. But Mike Heath certainly goes down as a noteworthy rider here on the Evolution team, and that's another one of the strong teams out here as well. So I'm glad we got to check in. That flag stood out to me. It definitely, I thought it was going to be like Cook Islands or something, but close, definitely Southern Hemisphere, where we seem to have a tremendous number of cool flags.
Big shout out again to our riders. I'm going to go with the top 5 or 6. Anybody over 100 WTRL TTTs, maybe? We're going to go in with actually a.
Like, we should do that. Like the Today Show celebrates people who are over 100 years old in the morning. We should celebrate anybody who's done their 100th WTRL.
Yeah, that's actually a really great idea. We should definitely.
Yeah,
throw
why
down
not?
something
Because that's
like
such a benchmark. How many have you done now? I mean, obviously you've broadcast a lot and you've raced thousands and thousands, but I'm going to guess you're even into 25 WTRLs
I'd actually have to
raced in
check.
your
I
life.
don't think I have. I think it's
Maybe
less
not
than
even that many, right? Because
No,
you joined guest teams and you've never
Yeah, it
had
was
a
only over
permanent
It
team
was
yet.
only over this past winter too, so it'll be interesting to see how many. I think Martin will probably have it right on hand. How many has Nathan done? But I want to give a
I'm
shout
going to
out
guess
to
14.
Ken.
14 is my guess.
14. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see what Martin has to say. You probably aren't even guessing. I bet you're like
No,
looking at it.
now I've got my.
So Ken McGinnis, I'm going to give a shout out to him in ATP Racing Nitrogen. He's out there today. He gave us a shout prior to the broadcast, but he's done 101 of these. Grandpa Ken, I know he's got a couple of youngsters most like watching him on the TV right now. So
His
racing for
grandkids
Nitro.
are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. So it's great to see him back out here with 101 races. We've also got Hubbard Tomlinson from the Vikings Mjolnir with 107. Looks like with 110 as well as 104. Stuart Block, Stephen Carson, Vance Neal with 111, and Lloyd Jones, again, our highest number with ATP Racing Nitrogen, also racing next to Ken McGibbons, and that is going to be 113. Right on the cusp, tied at 94. We are looking at Leif Eric Garvik and Arn Anderson at 94. So those are the next ones up for their 100th. So I've got 24 team time trials. I'm being told. 24
should have gone with my
team
first
time
guess.
trials. That wasn't a bad guess.
Well, keep it up, Nate. So the one person who's done 125 of these is Martin Carew. Thank you, Martin.
Yes, I haven't done. Yes, this is true. This is very true.
Without
plenty of them.
One of I've always, if Martin for some reason was unable to make a broadcast, would it run? Has he built a system that would run without him there at the helm? I wonder.
Oh yeah.
Can
this
guy,
itself? He can.
Yeah.
I don't like to risk it, but
we don't want to go there. No, that's not in our plan in any way. This is one of my favorite parts of the course, and really, again, the designers at Zwift, the game engineers, really did an incredible job with this world that was introduced over a year ago now for the virtual Tour de France.
We're looking at the TV team. It's going to be the Valhalla Drandro. They're in at 13:01, tied with the team Type 1 Gluconauts right now. The fastest team, again, always super dominating. It is going to be TSZ Mocha Cakes coming in. Rowan King, they are sitting in with a fairly solid time, it looks like, but I actually don't have them on the board. We'll see if we get an update here in just a moment to get them up on board here with the Vixens. I have a feeling maybe missing one or two that have crossed their different place. They'll be up in just a moment here. But SZ here, it looks like Van Schenk leading things out. Now coming on through is going to be Sundin. And they've got a solid gap here, it looks like, over the Sumatra Rhinos. Now, this is a battle that goes on week in and week out, though, between these Mocha Cakes and the Rhinos for sure.
It's epic every week. I wanted to shout out Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Bonjour to you. And I appreciate you being a part of the Zwift community. And he's right. No late join after Zwift clock hits 0. And I agree. A road captain is critical. A director, even better. Out here as we're in with Von Schenk right now. This is going to be the Swedish Zwifters. I wanted to shout out Valhalla as well. These are two legendary squads, without a doubt. As a matter of fact, Nathan, when you think about it, Norwegians, Swedes, some of the earliest adopters and some of the first to really get out here and race. And I think our question's answered just by, I still have yet to see anything but a Swedish flag with the Swedish Zwifters. So they must have a strict Swedes only policy. Adam Bruce, Oris Palanis, Friel Sundlin, Joachim Moberg, Magnus von Schenk, who we are in with right now, Martin Bjorkvik, Mats Eide, Michael Aronson, and Peter Bolinder making up this team. And they look spot on perfect right now. I mean, that is just dead perfect when you what can you say, Nathan, when a team is executing this well? And now you just, if they're getting their maximum power out of every rider here, well, they certainly know the game. No doubt about it. Fitness, that's something that, always going to be a moving target. No doubt about it. But this team really cracked the code a long time ago, and we're getting a good look now at a 12:07, and that's going to be quite a bit quicker than any other team out there. This is going to be, again, the Mocha Cakes that we're in with now. You can see that the RR Sumatran Rhinos in with the 12:23. That's going to be your second fastest time. Jaffa Cakes, everybody loves them. Evo Flux in third with a 12:44. This is blowing up. Now, Nathan, the story really becomes, can the Mocha Cakes hold this over the climb? 12:55 for Engulf. That's the ECC team doing a great job out there. Team Type 1 Gluconauts with a 12:57. It gets very close here. As you can see, only 3 seconds separating 4th, 5th, and 6th, with the Valhalla Dragonville sitting in 6th. And then Team Adam Racing Krypton, that's your 7th fastest time in our Mocha Platinum League race right now. And they're really, Nathan, down to 10K to go. But as they say, the sting is in the tail on this one.
I'm being told that Mike Garv is wearing some garb right now, specifically for us. I'm being told.
Heck
So,
yeah.
we've got.
He's got a cool
We'll
shirt.
just put this big right across. He's actually got the Jaffa cake. Says that the message is keeping with the team theme. Thought you'd appreciate the jersey one of the team will be wearing with Evo magenta under. Of course, Mike Garv, the guy who got hit by lightning. So that guy got hit by lightning right there, wearing the Jaffa cake. So this is I love it that they're sending these pics on.
Doesn't look any worse. Any worse for the wear?
No,
Did you
as long
know
as he
that
has the pink kit underneath? I mean, that's the main thing,
right?
As we were told.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Nathan, Eat Dirt is doing a Zwift Community Live attempted takeover today.
Yeah, I noticed
These
that.
guys
They
are
kept talking
yeah, they
about
are.
they completely. I mean, really, we could just essentially just have their comments the entire time, and that could
we could hand it over to them.
We'll just hand.
We could hand it over to them. Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, we could start.
Well,
from
you know what? The week
here.
Martin takes off. You know, so I'm going to Worlds in a couple of weeks to hang out with Zwift friends, and that week, why don't you and Martin take the week off too, and we'll have just our friends from Eat Dirt can do it. Stuart and Pete can announce.
So I mean,
I'm sure they can do all
Matt
the production.
Brandt stopping in, of course. I mean, he's a part of the Dirt family. Eat Dirt Domination, I'm being told. We've got Happy Birthday
Bill came by.
coming on through here. I mean, look at that.
Bill
Just
Suarto.
go on forever. I'm loving this. Waff is in here. Eat Dirt, Keith Miller's in here. Matt Brandt's talking about some dirt. I mean, this is as good as
this
it gets
is unreal. Here. They are hammering it, man. Talk about a unified message. Last thing you want to do is get on these guys' bad side, right, Nathan? That would not be a fun day, week, month, year, whatever. Good grief. So we are in with Evo now. So I'm going to jump back because I did shout these guys out, Chris, Dylan, Mike, and that's because we learned about Falklands Island flag today, Mike Savage. You learn something new on every WTRL, or at least I learned something new. I shouldn't say you, as our listeners and viewers out there are pretty hip. I learn something every week on WTRL.
I want to definitely jump on over and just see how things are going in the Espresso and Doppio just real quick to see what kind of times are being laid down, because it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, as we do have a battle for the fastest time you could possibly have on this course. New course records have already been set. NZ Bro came through earlier today in Zone 1 with the fastest ever Doppio time. We obviously had Eat Dirt come on through in the Espressos with the fastest time. So, but we do have the TSC Waffles out on course. They are no joke. TSC, they show up to race. And, Waffles, I mean, maybe they are a joke, but
no,
they definitely can
no
still,
joke.
they can definitely still throw down fast times regardless of whether or not. Oh, and we also have Toyota out here with Cryo DT. I mean, Cryo DT showing up. They're not going to be playing around. They're here to win. That's for sure as well.
Well, Nathan, I did want to give a shout out. You know how we have really enjoyed as the world has come back to life within real life events, seeing our friends that are Zwift Community Live people out there. It's been a real highlight for me, and I've seen you comment and note it too. Brenda Bilatis was at the Gateway Cup, and she brought pie by for everyone working on the stage, for the officials, and Frankie Andreu had some pie. So it was really nice seeing her and her kids out there. Josie and Gus, her kids were out racing, and that was really nice. So nice connecting the dots. I see she's with us on the broadcast, so I wanted to say hi.
Oh, awesome. Of course. That's great. Absolutely loving the connections coming in from.
Isn't it great?
Life.
I mean, it
and,
makes me happy,
we actually mentioned is go meet up with Dave and see what happens, and there it is.
Bring a pie. That's
the only motivation for Dave there is that they brought the pie. So
don't bring me pie. I'm trying to lose weight. Seriously, I love. But you know what, man? That connection has been that really helped get so many of us through, Nathan. That's been amazing what you've done with Zwift Community Live. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So, all right, let's jump in. How are the Swedish Swifters doing out here? So, again, we've seen that someone broke the 30-minute barrier on this course. Casse-Pattes is the French world that we're in with right now. I wouldn't have thought that was possible quite yet. I thought it would happen this season, maybe, but a 29:51, and that was out of Zone 1 earlier today, actually starting off the WTRL day in Zone 1. There's 16 different zones. This is Platinum League, which is invite only, the best 10 or 11 teams from their zones from around the world. Not all of them will make it. Logistics can be an issue. It's obviously a big world we live on. Nathan, looks like you got a team, though, down to 4 right now, and I have a feeling we've moved over to our espressos.
Yeah, and this is interesting to see. The no pins R3R team, I think they've completely sacrificed their team up front. Liam Bard's off the back at this point. I'm not sure how many they've sacrificed, but I think they have done exactly what we were talking about early on, because they had a 10:15 early on. Then look at the gap. 17:50. They opened up almost a minute. Maybe not a minute, but still like 35, 40 seconds here. At this point,
they doubled their advantage. Yeah, they doubled their advantage, really. And that's outstanding. I really think that they sacrificed riders doing that. That's
now they're
beautiful.
down to 4, and they're on the climb with the switchbacks at this point.
4 is all you need, to be honest. You don't need any extra luggage here. You want to travel light and fast at this point now. See, they're making the catch. This is an outstanding ride. No pins, R3R in full effect. Nathan, I love it when teams. So there's different ways to look at this, different ways to slice up the pie. And some teams want to finish with all 8, and that's a tactic that makes sense as far as community building, trying to keep people involved, trying to grow as a unit. But if you really, really want to win, you're going to have to do extreme racing. And extreme racing means using teammates up, emptying their tank like a booster rocket. They want to help you get the rocket up and out of the atmosphere, and then let the fine work be done. Let's watch them roll through here. Always, it's amazing how much better the teams have gotten at this, Nathan, on both sides, the passers, the hunted, and the hunters.
It's going to be a tough call here, though, going through this team, because they're going to have to go through them at like
they're
7
going
watts
slow.
per
It's a
kilogram.
6% grade.
Yeah,
it's really steep.
The reality of doing it on a climb like this is really difficult, because everyone's going to be matching just about the same, maybe a little bit over to make that catch, and so you're going to need a little bit more, punch than maybe they want to give sitting in that draft on a climb like this. You're already really suffering just to hang onto the wheels, because the amount of draft you're getting is going to be a little bit less. Now it's going to get easier as it is leveling out to this 2% or so. And they got a couple of more corners to go, about halfway up this category 4 climb. And now that they have made that separation, does look like Siemens backing off. And who's going to the front? Zach Harner, actually, straight to the front.
Keeping the pace high.
Well, Loudon, actually, 6.3. It looks like they're trying for about a 6.0 climb. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold it here. See, it looks like Cryogen now actually closing things back down. This is interesting. So I'd be frustrated if Cryogen makes a catch again. I would be a frustrated team, actually.
Yeah, this is interesting because, as Nathan said, you can see Harner right at that number, 6.0 watts per kilo. So that's a lofty ambition to hold that here. This climb is 2.7K at a 4% average. So it's not the Alpe d'Huez, but it's no joke. We're going to see them swapping out riders here, trying to keep that pace high. Again, 4 riders together here. They are at, let's call it 4K of racing to go at this point. These are the switchbacks, Nathan, that you were talking about. It's a beautiful world again, but right now they're deep in the hurt locker here.
Yeah, and we're keeping eyes here on the No Pins team, but now Evo Espresso come on through. They were the first 2 to go, though, as Evo Vortex and Evo Espresso 2804, 2946. Those are not going to hold at the 20K marker as these teams start to come through. We're going to have some pretty big time gaps between these teams on this course. I'm not surprised with how difficult this course is on the back end, and those who've employed a really good tactic are going to gain a ton of time. As we had said, sacrificing riders on this course, it's one of the few courses where you don't need a whole lot. It's not a lot of landscape between here and the finish line, only 4K and mostly downhill. So all you need to do through there is jump over the top of the other riders' avatars over and over again as best you can, gain that speed, snowball effect as best you possibly can. And look at the damage that this climb is doing to all the other teams, Dave.
Yeah, it's
None
funny,
of them
Nathan.
are
I was just
intact.
thinking.
None of them are intact.
No, I was just thinking how if there was ever a course where being experienced and strong as a team would make a difference, it would be this one. Again, experienced and strong. What course wouldn't that be good on, right? That's a complete no-brainer. But this one really does allow you to kind of go to that next level if you've got a team that's firing on all cylinders. Let's take a look. That Waffles time, it's solid. 25 seconds quicker there at 20K, 27:30 the time for the Swedish Zwift Waffles. Now, at ART, the Photons at a 27:55, 9 seconds behind them. That's a 28:04 for Evo Espresso, 28:50 for Zed Sun R, the Red Dwarfs. Evo Vortex at a 29:46. That's your top 5 times there at that critical final check before the finale.
And with now, there is one thing to be said with coming over the top with a few more bodies here is you do get a better snowball effect.
That's sure, and I agree. I mean, I'm not going to deny that, right? But I just feel like the advantage
amount
of getting
time lost on the climb, though, to keep everybody together, depending on how much parity there is.
Absolutely,
That's really what it's going to come down to.
And Nathan, let's be honest, not many teams have the ability to get 6 over that climb that quickly, and incredibly experienced team, and they're all basically at the same level, which is awesome for team time trialing. So it's a little bit of an embarrassment of riches for the Swedish Swifters here.
Quite a descent.
They got a lot. They got a lot
almost
going
70
for
kilometers per hour. I want to see if anybody else hits that 70 kilometer per hour marker.
That's It'll be hard to with less than 6. Right, with less than 6 coming over the top, and they know how to do it too, Nathan. If you're going to give a clinic on how to avalanche, or look at what they're doing here. Well done, Swedes.
60 kilometers per hour, 58. Now they got to start ramping things up as it gets into the flatter sections of the course. So it's going to calm right on down as far as
they've only got
to ramp it up 55 kilometers per hour, and this is everything though to the line really at this moment.
500
really,
meters.
It's about 5. Yeah, I mean. All in, start sprinting. And that's one thing that's a little bit tricky about this course is you don't realize how quickly the finish is coming on actually. And from here on out, it's orange numbers if you got them.
Can you imagine now NZ Bro Slurtzik after this incredible ride from the Swedish Swifting Waffles team? They did this in 29:51. Out here today. You're looking at a great ride that's just going to come in at about 31 and a tiny bit of change. Maybe they get in just around this bend. You're going to see the finish line here.
Looking through if we can see.
Yeah, they'll get in just under 31. It looks like.
Yeah, just under. So 26:47 now from no pins. As you can see, they brought it out a little bit more on the time. It does look like they might have lost
it's going to be good.
No, they gained just a tad.
Yeah,
what will
this
they
is
end up hitting here?
This is going to be in that 30-20, 30-25 range, I think. It's going to be really good, no doubt.
This is flying.
This is outstanding.
They went out 7th. They went out 7th.
I want to give these guys a shout out for sure. This is a standout ride here today. So this again is our espresso category that we're in with. No Pins is a legendary squad. That is for sure.
Still
and here we go. Left. So this is going to be Chris Smart, Jesse Seaman, Liam Bard, Neil Richards, Scott Gleason, and Zach Harner, who we've talked about a lot. It's Seaman. I'll figure out who Gringo is. I have a feeling that's Liam Bard. We'll figure it out, but these guys are going to be, and I was saying 30-25. I think they're going to get there.
What a ride.
It's going to be right on that.
Now Cryogen coming in right behind him. That's not Cryo DT. There's 2 Cryogens out there today.
Eddie Cool
with us. Oh, I didn't realize we were with Ul. Good to see him out here today. And not the usual that he'd be on the back foot, especially with Martin's out here still. So obviously no pins R3R.
This is going to be really good. This is going to be sub 315 for sure. Well, I shouldn't say for sure, but I've got him in there sub 315, maybe a little over that. Watching some solid rides. This is the South African Eddie Ool that we're in with.
Tied at the 20K.
Wow.
26:47. 26:47. 17:52 was the last. I think. Wow. So Cryo DT have been bringing back time a little bit. Actually, there they are across the line. Doppio
They'll score
versus the
30
Espressos out
20.
here today. Absolutely flying. This will
Wow,
be
wow, what a day.
interesting.
Casse-Pattes, this is the French world, 23.9K of racing out here. A significant climb, that 2.7K at 4%. That's been the difference maker out here. We've talked about teams using that tactic, and it looked like R3R did that quite successfully out here. We're going to jump in with Atomic Racing Team Krypton and Palmer. They're down to 4 as well. I think the Swedes might be one of the few teams that we'll see a handful of teams finishing with 5, 6 riders, but not many out here today.
That R3R team right up in there with the Dopios looks like maybe setting a new record. We'll see how this ends up playing out here today. And it does look like Eat Dirt are going to have to eat their time as we do get the time starting to come in so far. New course record just set by No Pins R3R E Racing Team 30:39. So not quite enough nutrients in that soil there, guys. Sorry to say. But gonna have to go back to the drawing board, do a little bit more digging, and get some more dirt on the plate because No Pins R3R just showed everybody what's up. But NZ Bro, not even coming close to really being touched though. And NZ Bro are the new kids on the block. Watch out for this team. This is that's a dominating performance.
That's a statement ride right there. That should turn some heads. What's happening down in New Zealand is phenomenal right now. It's the Anna Russell effect that we're seeing
really
here.
Is. It really is. I mean, she goes and hangs out in that NZ Bro chat ride and just gives them all of the pointers, tells them what socks to wear and the watch.
She's changing the game.
I mean,
yeah, she's shifting the power balance. It's just brain power there now. Yeah, well, it's fun to watch, that's for sure. Evo Flux Jaffa 36:08 here, Nathan. Let's see. The fastest time, that Mocha Cake's time was just unbelievable.
Not even close here, Dave. Look at this. 44 seconds. Car DT, we saw them just come on through.
They must have only had 3 riders taking that. Interesting. All right.
30:57, 30:39, and 30:36. So Cryo DT did get the better of No Pins when it comes across like the Doppio Espresso, but NZ Bro,
by a couple seconds, right? Maybe 3
Cryo
seconds.
DT is a top
close
team, though. They're like top 10, top 5 Premier Division.
I was going to say, yeah, they're like a world tour team.
Yeah,
in our world.
Joke.
Yeah.
This is no joke. I mean, NZ Bro, what is happening with New Zealand here? So showing us what's up, and I'm excited to see how they play out in the community league because I have a feeling, all things being equal, they may be earning themselves a Premier Division spot in 2022.
I completely agree. As a matter of fact, I'd be surprised if they didn't now. So you can see these teams are all these mixed teams are all, when we're picking them up here, they're into the final K. So this is going to be out of our mochas that we're in with Evo here. It's been really nice being with the mochas today. This is going to be Andrew Morrow, Andrew Smith, Brian O'Brien, Colin Hill, Greg Shelley, Ian Doy, Marco Zerotti, and then from South Africa, Mark Redfern. Actually, you know what? I'm realizing there's 2 Evo teams, aren't there? Here, I apologize. I'm running through all of our Evo riders, not one team. I might as well give them all a shout out, though, because it's all awesome having you here. As Neil McCulloch, Paul Dyer, Paul Enright, Rob Williams, Sammy G, Tom Albin, and Ty Denmead, all part of the Evo program. Again, it's not rare. It's not common, but it's not rare to see teams with multiple squads in the same race. And it looks like you've got the start pen there for our Vienna. The women's categories are going to be getting out on course here.
Yeah,
and that's Watts UPC, isn't it?
Yeah, Watts UPC taking off. Well-known WTRL team. Good to see them out on course as they take off. Team Type 1, it looks like now just coming across the line here with the Gluconauts, and then it is going to be Rhino Racing chasing them for the rest of the Mochas. The Vienna is getting out on course and Watts UPC, it looks like, chasing the German Kirchmar team, VL1, out there out on course. So this is going to be quite the battle. Watts UPC had an amazing ride last week. They're going to be starting the final team, meaning they were the fastest team last week in the Platinum League, as Pipa takes off and doesn't lead them out. The South African, actually, Melander is leading them out right now, as you can see, at a solid 4.3 watts per kilogram, really getting up to speed. The Rhinos in the lower left there, as you can, or in the left-hand side now, finishing up their race. And, is that 4 or 3 riders? It's going to be actually 4 riders. They still got 4.
I'm curious, Nathan, are you feeling South Africa's getting more involved with Swifting as well? Because I'm starting to see more and more riders myself, but I'm wondering if that's just my
They've
perception.
been around. They've really been around for
There's
a while.
always been representation.
There's been lots and lots, but maybe
seems like
keep
more.
my eyes up. Keep my eyes open. Who's got the data on that? Who could just tell us?
Well, there's one guy.